Simple and plain. To be the best, you have to win. That's why I play the game.
So after going a little bit quiet over the past week or so in terms of free agency, the Los Angeles Lakers have officially re-signed Rajon Rondo, and he's coming in on a one-year deal worth about $2.6 million after being bought out by the Memphis Grizzlies. An absolutely outstanding pickup for the Lakers in my opinion, because he's just going to add to the experience that we already have, and we know that Rondo is going to bring that IQ and that playmaking that's going to be key for the Lakers championship hopes this season. So that now leaves us with 2 open roster spots left after the signing of Rondo, and there's rumors going around that the Lakers are wanting to keep at least one roster spot open just to give us a lot of flexibility throughout the season. You know, we've seen it in the past, a lot of guys get bought out around the trade deadline, and the Lakers have capitalized on those sorts of opportunities over the past couple of seasons. We've seen it with Markieff Morris and cats like that, and I think it really makes sense for what we're trying to build here, because you never know what's going to happen throughout the season. There could be major injuries, or things just simply might not work out with some of the players. So when you have an open roster spot, you can just bring in a player to help fix that problem, compared to bringing in a player at the start of the season, which you might not necessarily need at the end of the season. And we saw this type of scenario come to fruition a couple of years ago for the Lakers, when the front office just didn't feel like we had a decent center presence, and they went out and got a player like Tyson Chandler, who was able to come in and play some valuable minutes at the center position. And speaking of centers, as you can tell by the title of the video, Shams is reporting that the Brooklyn Nets are negotiating a buyout for DeAndre Jordan, and it's rumored that the Lakers are one of the teams that may be keen on picking him up, which is pretty interesting to me, considering we already have Marc Gasol and Dwight Howard, although Marc Gasol's future with the Los Angeles Lakers is kind of in the air. So that's what we're going to talk about in this video. If the Lakers are to go out and get a player like DeAndre Jordan, how can he help this Lakers team this season, and how much of an impact can he have on this squad? But before we get started, I want you guys to comment down below, in their prime, who would you rather have on your team? Dwight Howard, Marc Gasol, or DeAndre Jordan? In their prime, who would you rather have on your squad? Comment down below right now. So the thought of the Los Angeles Lakers going out and getting a player like DeAndre Jordan is really interesting to me, on the fact that we sort of already have that style of player on this team in Dwight Howard. You know, they pretty much do the same thing. They're great defensively, you know, can guard the other team's center quite comfortably. They're great shot blockers. They're great at moving their feet. They're great at contesting shots, can pretty much average 10 rebounds in their sleep. And then offensively, because they're so big and strong, they're able to set these solid screens for our players to run around and our shooters to get open off, and then in turn it makes it easier for them to turn around, slash to the basket, get wide open easy dunks, and they're great lob threats as well. They've always had the ability to catch the lob and throw it down with some thunder. So I think a lot of this has to do with the uncertainty that's surrounding Marc Gasol, not only if he's going to come back to this team, but how is he going to play on this team as well, because we saw in many moments last season he just looked a bit slow, and he looked like, you know, the game may have been passing him by a little bit, although I think he did play well in the playoffs when we did put him out there, because he just always has the ability to stretch the floor, and when you have this ability to shoot the ball, that never leaves you, so he's always going to be able to knock down the three-point shot pretty consistently. Although overall, particularly this season, I'm concerned that Marc Gasol just isn't going to be able to keep up with our offense. You know, we signed a guy in Russell Westbrook who's going to come down the floor at 100 miles an hour. You got Anthony Davis, who's athletic as hell out there. We've got LeBron James, who's a locomotive coming at you. These guys are going to be going at 100 miles an hour, and I'm not too sure that Marc Gasol can fit in with that style of offense when he's a bit too slow out there on the floor. Although, as I said, he can still give you things like stretching the floor, and he has a great passing ability at the center position. But overall, I think that's why we're going after guys like DeAndre Jordan, just for consistency at the center position, because we're going to be able to run the same plays as we can when Dwight Howard's on the floor, and it's the same for Rondo with Russell Westbrook. They're similar players in terms of playmaking, so we're going to have consistency at the point guard position, and now if we bring in DeAndre Jordan, we're going to have consistency at the center position as well. So we're always going to be running the same style of offense, the same offensive schemes out there. So every single person on the floor is going to know exactly what they need to be doing, and at the end of the day, that just creates easy offense, which is key to winning championships in this league. So I think the Lakers front office really made a decision this year that we really want to go with experience and consistency, and that's exactly what a player like DeAndre Jordan is going to bring you, because I think we learned a lot last year in the playoffs. We had a lot of young guys on our team and a lot of guys who really haven't cemented what their role is in this league. For instance, we had a guy like Kyle Kuzma who was always inconsistent. One night he would shoot the lights out and other nights he would just go missing, and he always seemed to play a little rushed out there because I just think he doesn't really know what position he is out there on the floor. And the same goes for a player like Montrezl Harrell. You know, he's only 6'7", so is he really a center out there, or is he really a slashing small forward or power forward? And I hope all of this is making sense, but what I'm trying to say is these are the types of players who don't really have a defined role in the NBA, so they go out on the court really trying to find themselves, and that can lead to some inconsistency. And that really showed in the playoffs, because when Anthony Davis went down, we didn't have that player who was going to step up into a defined role and really make a difference out there. Everyone sort of panicked a little bit and sort of just looked at LeBron James in the hope that he would do everything, where in those moments you have to have guys who can really step up in those crucial moments in the season that's really going to decide whether or not the Los Angeles Lakers win another championship. So I think that's exactly why the Lakers have their eyes on these players like Carmelo Anthony, DeAndre Jordan, Dwight Howard, who are proven players, experienced players who we know that we can trust in the playoffs, and we know who's going to go out there and play their role and not fold under pressure. And in terms of the fit, I see DeAndre Jordan fitting on this team pretty damn easily. I mean, anytime you have LeBron James and Russell Westbrook running the pick and roll, you're going to be effective no matter who you are. But because, as I said before, DeAndre Jordan is such a lob threat and a defensive beast out there, it only adds to the amount of talent that we have on this team and the amount of versatility in terms of lineups that we can throw out there. Not to mention that he's already familiar with the city of Los Angeles. As we all know, he spent many years at the Clippers there and played quite well at the Clippers as well. And I still think he's got some gas left in the tank if he was to come and play for the Los Angeles Lakers. And the fact that he's most likely going to sign on a veteran minimum contract just adds to the appeal to me. I mean, anytime you get a player like DeAndre Jordan on a veteran minimum contract as your backup center, you just can't go wrong. But let me know your thoughts in the comments. Would you like to see DeAndre Jordan on the Los Angeles Lakers this season? And how much of an impact do you think he can have if he was to come to the squad? But that's going to do it for this video, guys. Be sure to subscribe to the channel so you don't miss out on future Laker videos just like this one. But for now, it's been your boy Jay from the Lakers exclusive YouTube channel. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.